Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome. It's Oliver the Wolf Guy, and as you can see, I am in the process of pulling out a rotted fence post to replace it in the perimeter fence of my wolf habitat. So hang in there. I don't always have the device right in front of me here because obviously I'm working and I've just got this thing sitting on a tripod. But if you got questions about the process, I'll check in periodically and answer them. And you can also AMA anything about my work with wolves or my coaching based on wolf leadership while we're doing it. And right now, if you're curious, so of the 6 ambassador animals, 4 of them are in the rear habitat, and my Malamute and my old lady are here in the front habitat, and they're unlikely to mess with me while I'm doing this, which is why. So where I'm at right now in the process, hope you can hear me, is I've already disconnected the electrical that runs along the top of the fence. It's still live, but I'm just gonna dodge around it. I've disconnected it from the post. I'm removing the large screws that hold the post to the ornamental iron. And then the fun part of breaking out the concrete for the old post and getting the old post out. And then we're gonna dig a big hole to replace that concrete footer. And then we'll set the post, level the post, and then finally do the reattaching to the fence here. I may switch between a tripod and a chest cam here, depending. But like I said, I'll check in once in a while and see if you guys got questions. Otherwise, just you can join me. I do this. We use pressure treated 4x4 posts here, and these posts, most of them, they're about a decade old, a little more than a decade, and so that's about the time when ones that just aren't as well treated start to fail, and before they fully fail and we risk the potential of a containment breach, we just pull them out and replace them. And so I'm right now, I'm just in the process of, and this one's really rotted, so you'll see it's gonna come up right out, which is good and bad. The good is it's out. The bad is that means that dealing with the concrete footer is gonna be a little more painful. So I may have to go outside here to get around it. Yeah, I am. So I am gonna, let's see here. What's up, everybody? Yeah, working on the fence here. Glad to see you're feeling better. This is going to be a boring process. Well, it depends on how much problems I run into, whether it's a boring process, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely laborious here to do this particular thing because we use a lot of concrete at the base of our posts. So, yeah, here we go. I've already got all my tools. So I've done this enough times now where I tend to not have to make too many trips back in the house to get more tools. So what we've got, obviously, is a little post hole digger. That comes in handy later. And a giant, heavy pry bar to make space for this. Boop the snoot of the best boy, Icknick. Icknick is in the back right now, hanging out. It's like 78 degrees right now, which is quite warm. So the animals are really hanging out in the shade. They've already kind of hit the pond and got themselves wet. And I am in the middle of it here, and it's gonna be a warm one. I usually don't do this when it's quite this warm outside. All right, so let me figure out where I can set this so you guys can kind of see. Maybe. Forgive me while I play with the camera here for just a sec. Hi there, welcome folks. If you haven't tuned in before, I am Oliver the Wolf Guy. Let's see, that's not too bad. We are the Tahoe Wolf Center. We're a 501c3. We are devoted to teaching the world why wolves are an amazing, interesting, iconic species that should be loved, understood, cared about. And yeah, this is a big footer here. So my next part of this job is the worst part of the job, which is uncover the footer here. And this also has a decade of soil here on top, natural duff here. Just find the edge of it. And we'll have to break it out, which means you gotta kind of dig around it. And yeah, I guess if you've seen guys dig holes, you've seen guys dig holes. But probably not ever seen a guy dig a hole while there's wolves on the other side of the fence, which is maybe a differentiating factor for y'all. And again, as I said, I'll pop back in here periodically and if you do the job right the first time, it's really hard to undo the job later. We also will find things like tree roots that have grown around it. You'd be amazed how long these roots of these trees spread. And my goal is to disrupt everything else as possible. And the reason why I care about that is anytime you disrupt stuff, the animals tend to explore it more and they try to exploit any potential weakness they find. So we try really hard to limit any disruption. Hey, would you do me a favor?
Yes.
Will you get me the big shovel shaped like this one? It's
Where
in
is
the
back? Yeah.
it's in the shed, yeah, the kennel. I just sent my other half, Tanya, to go grab me the bigger shovel. I thought this one might be the handy one, but it's turned out it's gonna be painful to use this little shovel. So, and here we've got, I'm at the edge of the concrete here. And usually once I get some of the concrete exposed, then I just start smashing it with my sledge and my pry bar, and I just kind of alternate to try to get people ask me, because I'm in reasonable condition. I used to be in better shape as a pro athlete, but for 57, I'm not in too bad a shape other than my million injuries from my pro athletic career, which definitely haunt me now. But people are like, do you go to the gym? I'm like, nope. I walk wolves and I take care of them, and that means my daily life is a lot of this kind of action. The materials that I'm using for today are a 4x4 by 8-foot pressure treated post, which I still have to go grab and bring it over here. And then I use fence post mix. That's one.
But how about two of this?
Either
Different
one
handle.
is fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and of course the one has the wolf-eating handle.
No, yeah.
Hanging hand right here.
Oh, another one's worse.
The other one's worse.
Yeah.
All of our tools, if we're not careful, get the little rubber handle. If it's wood, they just eat the whole handle. If it's fiberglass, they eat the rubber off the handle. If it's a sledgehammer, they chew the edge of the handle. We'll show you that in a second. All of our tools live in a shed, but I mean, they can ruin the handle of a tool in between going to get another tool. If there were, well, I mean, obviously when I've got a hole in the fence like this, I'm not gonna have a bunch of animals here, just because that would put us in jeopardy of having a breach, which is my number one biggest concern all the time, is having a breach. And to make sure that doesn't happen, in addition to the maintenance, I do twice daily checks where I pretty much walk around the fence, every inch of it, examining every part of it. And if there's anything that's even a little sketchy, I just replace it. So, and this here is the the handle of the sledgehammer that I think Noonie did that one. Noonie is my, Sonny and Noonie are my troublemakers. Let's see what I got here, if I'm missing any comments. All right. Let's see. Got a lot of questions here. Do you give our wolves ice during the summer? Sometimes we give them watermelon. They really dig watermelon. We do give them ice in buckets every once in a while. It's not super hot here. Let's see here. Energy drinks, oh my gosh. 5 or 6 energy drinks. That's gonna be bad for you. Right on. Okay. Well, for those of you that are just tuning in here, I'm Oliver the Wolf Guy. Hey, what's up, everybody? My camera's mounted to a piece of fence I'm repairing, so it might get a little bouncy here in a sec. And I'm replacing a rotted fence post out of our wolf habitat fence. And right now I'm in the laborious process of getting the old footer out. So I break up the old concrete here. And we poured these and placed these posts about a decade ago. And so we're starting to have like onesie twosies get tired. And when they start to rot even a little, we just bust them out and replace them. And the worst part, of course, is actually getting the footers out, because we pour 2 bags per. And that's a lot of concrete. And once they've been in the ground a while, it's amazing how they adhere to the ground. Just gotta find the edge of it and work around it. And once I get to the bottom and get underneath it, I start to break it up. This part of the job is always the longest and the worst. Digging a hole when you're on your knees. And so while I got you guys, I'm really excited to announce I have been, I guess there were 362 applicants for this particular event, the TEDx Lake Mary near Orlando, Florida. And I will be giving a talk, and it will be about the truth of wolves and leadership, and why toxic masculinity is the wrong role model for young people who want to be the best leaders they can, who want to be naturally respected and admired, and to be inspiring leaders rather than the kind of leaders that, like, every one of us has had a bad boss, you know, a cruddy leader. Like, when I say bad boss, I know everyone who's ever held any jobs pretty much immediately, they're like, yep, I had one of those. Their face just comes right up, and they just know. And you know, whether you're, you know, want to be a captain of a sports team, or, you know, successful in the military. And for those of you that are, thank you for your service. I have not served, and so I have the utmost respect for people that are willing to make that incredible sacrifice. I'm always happy to talk to current and past military if they want to learn about wolves, wolf-inspired leadership. Because a lot of military leadership, by the way, is actually very much like you'd be shocked at how modern and altruistic true U.S. military leadership is. They're some of the best. They make some of the best leaders on the planet. Everybody should aspire to have that altruism of our service people. But I'm happy to talk to people about that. If you're a person that wants to dig deep, you can reach out to me. I'm Oliver the Wolf Guy at Gmail, and you can send me an email. I'm happy to talk to you. You can also DM me on TikTok, and happy to talk to you about that. So we're just going through the process. Let me have a peek here. Let's see, hi. Sorry guys, because I can't see this thing from a distance here. I'm Yeah, we don't have any employees. I wish we could, but we're not set up for that here. We do all our education, and we do occasionally have visitors, but it's really an exception rather than a rule. We are not open to the public. You can't just show up here and get a tour. Although people come by, to be fair, people know where I'm at, and they come by the property to just drive by and check out the animals. And much of the time I'm here working, and I'm happy to give a talk, but to come in and interact with the animals is pretty limited. Our insurance doesn't like that. But the mission is to actually have a facility here in the not too distant future that is fully open to the public with interpretive exhibits and I can already tell this is going to be a super fun one. Some of these go easy. Some of these I feel like I'd have been better served to bring a backhoe in, but I can't do that where I'm at, so I make the best of it. It just means I may be standing here in the sun, digging a hole for a while until I get this thing. This is, it's funny. A lot of people are like, I want to work with wolves. But so much of the work with wolves is like this kind of deal here, more drudgery than animal. Now, to be fair, I do interact with animals a lot. Yeah, some of these break up real easy, and others are like this one. They fight me every inch of the way. I'm in it to win it, so worst comes to worst, I get out heavier artillery. I start drilling out the inside where the post rotted out, and I've got a hollow space to fracture the concrete. I may have to resort to that this way. Start pulling nice and let's see. Not quite there yet. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to break out the part of the post that's still in the, there we go, in the concrete, because that allows me to break it. And these are hard-won lessons from many, many years. We're starting with this. Once a few big pieces break out, now we start to. It's crazy how these posts, like 20 years ago, I never had to replace a post. Redwood was still an affordable option, and I think redwood just lasts forever. It's just such an amazing material. But of course, us humans, we use up everything in the area as fast as we can. So now, redwood is pretty dear. This is still going to be a pretty good battle. For a second there, I was feeling like, it's just going to break apart. But now, I'm feeling like we're going to be in it for the long haul here. All right, let me take a breath. I'm wearing gloves, which doesn't make this part super easy. And of course, Yes, it's fjord som sagt. Well, what's up, people? If you haven't seen my channel before, I'm Oliver the Wolf Guy, which is because I've spent 40 years living and working with wolves. I'm the founder and executive director of the Tahoe Wolf Center. We are a nonprofit dedicated to teaching people about wolves. So our mission is education, advocacy. No, you're not. Hey! If they start to be, you might have to tie them up. You know what? Get Cooey on a cable on that tree with the loop around it, and there's a cable inside my backpack in the house. Clip her in. Since when she's sleeping, I'm cool, but when she's not sleeping, I'm not cool. So we have a neighbor rolled up who has some dogs, and everybody got all excited. So I'm gonna make sure that we don't have any issues while I'm working here. And the Pente, you. Both backpacks have them.
Huh?
Both backpacks have them. I still want you to do it.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things that people wonder is how do you tie up a wolf when they can cut through a rope as thick as my thumb in less than 30 seconds? Their jaw power is just otherworldly. And so we use these aircraft cables. And so like when I go camping, I sometimes take animals in the backcountry. And when we do that, obviously I have to sleep at some point. I'm not carrying a fence with me. So what I do is I swap out the rope that they use when we're actually in motion for a 16-foot aircraft cable, coated cable with locking carabiners. And we just loop it around a tree, and then we put it on the collar. And all our animals are kind of accustomed to that. So you can just loop it around that post and put it on her collar. So loop it around the post first, go through the end. My wife never has to do this, so I'm coaching a little bit.
The last time we did it, over 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't get to take her out last year to go in the backcountry. Unknot it first. Unknot it first. There you go. And go through the end.
Like this?
Uh-huh. All the way through. Make a loop around the... And it does fit. And then just hook her in.
You have to tie this too?
I always tie everything because I'm that guy. All right. One of the keys to this kind of...
Oh, it's really bad, huh?
Huh? Yeah, it was done, but the footer's in such good shape that it's going to be a very painful repair job. Plus there's some huge tree roots wrapped around it. Where did it come from? There's trees spread out.
Wow, this guy. Slow down!
Hey! That is so annoying. We even have a sign in front of our house that says, how would you drive if someone you love lived here? Because people just rip up this road. It's the most inconsiderate. It's like one of my big pet peeves. Because this is just it's a small town, and this is a residential street. A few neighbors have kids and dogs, and and then you've got these. Most of the locals actually aren't so bad.
Okay,
But, sometimes you just gotta shout at people because they're ripping up your road. And it's a problem when like every house has some kind of a sign or one of those slow kids in front of it, begging people to be respectful. All right. So I just keep alternating here between one tool and the next. The challenge is because the fence is here. Just break it out a little at a time.
Small towel?
Huh?
Small towel.
I have everything. This is just a really solid foot. So far, it hasn't decided it wants to come apart the way I need it to. Actually, you know what I need? Would you go into the back of the Sequoia and get me my small sledgehammer? It'll be right there. It's, you know, it's like this, but small. It's got a wood handle.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Is that open?
Yeah, it looks closed, but
No.
it's just like daylight.
No.
The Sequoia's unlocked.
Oh.
The back door. Just don't slam it so I don't end up stuck, okay? Tree roots are going to be the real issue here. They're just, that's probably why it's rotted. The tree roots are pretty acidic. I think they must break down the far, this bad boy is not giving much of anything up to me. Gonna be a bit of a track here to get this thing. Oh, I wish I had my jackhammer. A borrowed jackhammer, that'd be the way. I just finished a big construction project.
This one?
That's the one. Get in there, count a little bit. I once had a wolf grab one of these with a hickory handle and splinter the handle right in front of me.
This is aspen tree? To me, it looks like aspen tree. Do you have it, honey?
What?
It's aspen tree?
I can't see it.
Aspen tree.
I understand it, but I'm just not in a position to look.
Or maybe different. I don't have to.
I doubt it. Aspen trees like wet.
Yes. This is not I think you need a jackhammer.
Yeah, well, I don't have the jackhammer. If I did, this would be done in 30 seconds if I get power to it, but I don't. So we'll do this the old school way. We'll dig a little at a time until it's out. People can watch or get bored. I'd be bored, but sometimes watching the struggle is interesting, I guess. And this is definitely going to be a struggle. This thing is just, when I do my work right the first time, undoing it is a bitch. Once it starts to break, sometimes you're like, okay, now we're in business.
You need a drink?
Yeah.
You can finish it. It's very cool. I can make it to you.
No, water.
Water? So, plastic water?
Please.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. Every tool in the tool chest. Such a shit angle to use a sledge. Just don't have good ground. If you're wondering why I'm not attacking this from the other side too, it's because I have ground wire here, and I don't want to disturb it because it's grown into the ground in a way that I really like. Part of my goal with the ground wire, the anti-dig wire, is we compost into it so that it becomes one with the earth, and it's just not an appealing place to excavate. And our animals don't try to get out, so if they dig near the fence, it's just incidental because they want to dig somewhere, but it's not because they're trying to engineer an escape. Got this big tree root that is sort of hugging this thing. It is complicating my job. Looks like I'm just gonna have to make a bigger hole. I try not to have to do that, but sometimes you gotta just dig a bigger hole. Myself a little more room to work. There's that tree root that decided to make this process 10x harder. Take 2 seconds and see if there's any comments here to read. All right. Hey. Right. Oh, hey guys. So welcome, folks. If you're just jumping in here, I am in the process of replacing a fence post here. I've got a Q-Talk just right next to me on a cable here, keeping an eye on the process. She's got one eye open. Seen me do this before. This one's gonna be a real test. Well, as the Keymaster says in the Matrix, always another way. You can just set it down.
Huh?
You can just set it down.
Let's put it down where?
On the ground anywhere.
But it can go there. That's another way.
Always another way.
Ooh.
I'm just trying to break this thing up a little bit somehow. It's really testing me, this one.
You can just call your friend, get the hammer. Here, let's have this. You can sit it down over there. I wouldn't worry about her, but I worry about her.
Well, I'm not leaving
Yeah, but you
a
know,
breach.
when she sees.
Oh. So if you've ever heard the phrase, every tool in a tool shed, this is one of those days where you're just gonna try. A bunch of different tools so you find the one that's, or the combo that's doing the job you need. So far I haven't found the magic combo. This is going to be an epic battle, this one. It does not want to budge. So for those of you who wonder what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to dig out the old concrete footer so I can re-pour a new footer for the post. And there right now, I have not managed to get around it enough where it wants to let go for me. So we're just sort of excavating it a little bit to get where I can break it up.
Maybe you need a real hammer.
I have every hammer. Starting it.
Here, Oliver, she's in a pen day. You should stop right now.
Well, it's starting to feel like progress when I get one of those out. A few more of those, this thing will move me.
Drink a lot of water, please.
tsunami is approaching.
I think the wolf doesn't care what you're doing. They're just hiding.
Too hot.
Too hot. Not really
You know,
moving.
like that dumb guy, he should do this at night.
You're right. Why don't you do it at night?
As I set my task for the morning yesterday, I said, today's the day I'm getting this thing out of here. Because I walked by here last night and I was like, you know, I don't like this post. I'm not sleeping good with this post.
So how many of them do you have to replace?
Just this one.
I thought it's the one by the parking too.
That was done a long time ago.
When you did it?
Last year. Don't you remember? The big post, Mark helped me pull it out.
You bought 2 posts, right?
Huh?
No.
I bought 3 this time because I always want to have extras, but I only had 1 to do.
One by Sequoia Park, right there.
No, I don't think so. We're just alternating and sweating. I think I'm seeing it move a little. Not moving enough. That's for sure. Sent you guys for a bounce, didn't I? Sorry about that. The freeze chipping away at it. That's what I'm doing. I'm really getting this thing out here. These little tiny chips, which is definitely not very satisfying. Bring 100 pounds of concrete out an ounce at a time.
He put that much.
Huh?
They put a lot of concrete, huh?
2 bags.
2 bags each.
Well, if I have to do it an ounce at a time, I'll do it an ounce at a time.
How much left in that?
Most.
The most gone or most a lot?
Most a lot is still in the ground here. Usually once you get to a certain point, it lets go. You know, the ground hangs on to it. That's the starting to see some cracks though. You're gonna take the wolf in the house? Retreat her ears.
Huh?
Retreat her ears.
No, you get it.
All right, believe it or not, starting to get some bigger pieces now. Just a tiny shard at a time. getting there. It's just a process. Whew. Stand up and stretch my back. Oh, sorry, tree. Let me check in on my friends here. How's it going, people? Oh yeah. I need a long metal wedge. You are totally right. Mad Dog's Ocean. I wish I still had snow. It'd be way better right now. Whew. Don't get dehydrated, my wife says. Coaching from the shade. But starting to see some. Be my guest. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't here. Maybe bring the Pente with just. Huh? Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
Call me if you need help.
This is one of those processes where I think somebody standing over your shoulder is like, yeah, let me do it. And then they get down there and like, oh, this is harder than it looks. Okay, finally seeing a big chunk at the bottom here. Now we're sort of in business, I think. Let's see here. So I do the kind of original work that when somebody has to go take it apart, they curse me. So right now I'm cursing myself. I'm like, damn, did you really need to pour nasty rotted wood splashed in my mouth while I do it. Aha! I think we just solved it. I think I just cracked the code. Yep. All right. It's just being effing persistent. Woot! Oh. Oh, celebrate good times, uh-huh. We got some minor triumph there. Minor triumph. Whew. All right. Now, the less miserable section begins, which is square up the bottom here a little bit, pour a little bit of concrete mix in the bottom of the hole. And I do have a nice hole already. Hardly have to do any digging. I'd like to get this water. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Oh, there goes my drink. That's sad. It's probably way more interesting watching a wolf sleep. Oh, what happened is just had a fence post that started to rot out, and so part of our protocol here to maintain habitat security is I touch all these things like every single day. I actually shake the fence, and in so doing, if I identify a post that seems weak, I take it out and I replace it. And today is this post day to replace. So all I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning up the bottom of the hole here so it's the right depth for me to pour a little bit of fence post mix. And so we use quick set extra strength fence post mix, which means I don't have to pre-mix the concrete. All you do is you pour the fence post mixed in the hole, and you set the post where you want it, and then you add water. Right now I'm just sort of getting the depth where I want it. And now heavy ass bag. What I do is I just cut a corner at first. And I put a couple inches in the bottom of the hole. If you guys will give me a moment, I'm gonna bring the fence post down, and then we'll level it, and we'll put the screws into it so it sets exactly where I want. And then I put the rest of the mix. And then I set it. So, be right back. I have a strange feeling. They delivered me 10 footers. Let's see what this looks like here. Oh, that's not too bad. I was worried there for a second that I was going to have to dig a lot more in my hole. It's a little taller than the other ones, but not too bad. I can live with that. So now, the key here is to reset it inside this existing fence, which is nice because it's going to level it for me, but I got to torque on it a little bit and get everything level. good. Hi, Cooey. Cooey turned around and stretched. Let me have a look here, peeps. Yeah, it's hard to do up where I live here. Like the front side here, I could do all that, but the other thing is that we have some limitations in our community about materials. And you can't use chain link for what I do because we get 700 inches of snow in the winter, and that'll pull down the fence if it's chain link. The snow moves and the mesh catches the snow, whereas this ornamental iron. The other thing that wolves can climb a chain link fence. Wolves can't leap over. People are like, well, your fence is not high. Wolves are not great leapers. They are amazing climbers, shockingly good when they have the right purchase for their feet. And so chain link, they can run at a corner and run up a 10-foot fence. I've seen it. There's video on the internet of wolves running right over a 10-foot fence. But a 6-foot ornamental iron fence, they can't do it because there's nothing to climb. And of course we run electrified. You can see the stanchions right above my head, the green thing there, is electrified. And so one of the wolves are stealing a car. They would if they could. And that, boy, quite a joyride. But yeah, so this is the material we use, and now you can see here that I've got it pretty much. I've done this enough. I just line of sight it now, and these holes. The fence really dictates where I get the top rails level, and everything is leveled, and it's kind of good. And so now, do I want to pilot holes? I think I do. I'm gonna go grab a drill bit because it's just better for the wood to pilot. These are the things you learn when you get old, right? So, 57 here, and done a few of these, and like younger me would have been like, oh, I'll just force the screws in because I can brute force it. But older me is like, little pilot hole preserves the integrity of the wood better. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a little bit and start carrying tools up the hill at the same time so I can make fewer trips later. Alrighty, folks. I'm back with a little drill bit. Now, I know most of you will watch my channel more for wolf stuff, but I'm kind of curious if this is interesting to y'all. It is definitely a day in the life. So these end up being a little offset.
it's on the hole.
I don't know what we ever did before we had drills and ratchets. This stuff was not that common when I was nowadays. It's like zip, it's in the hole. Hardly takes a minute. So I set the post here in the fence and then we'll do the concrete last. Look at that. Just like that. Shocking how fast that goes with the little drill. Better than with a crescent wrench. That's why we're all getting old and slow though. There we are. Ta-da! Those are there. I didn't even have to disrupt the ground wire, which is a big win for me because I hate disrupting the ground wire. Let me just check in here. See, we got a few more people watching now. Kenny Carabin electronic hard structural labor goes. Yeah, you are right. It is definitely. Turboros were super interesting. Tanya Starr says hi. Hi, Tanya Starr. For any of those wondering, Tanya Starr is, yes, Wolf Mom. She's in with the AC, enjoying not doing this part. But I honestly, I love this stuff. I guess some people aren't into it. I always, it's funny, you know, I've made my living with my mind and my body kind of equally as a pro athlete. But I'm way happier out here digging a hole than I am at my desk, even though I'm an author and I wrote a book here. For those of you that are curious, I wrote a book called The Wolf Lover's Guide to Raising Dogs. In a nutshell, if you want your dog to love you more, live longer, and have a better life, read my book. I promise you that's what it delivers. And I'm writing another book now about leadership. Called Defanging Alpha, Rethinking Leadership Through Nature's Lens. And that book is really about real wolf families and how this whole alpha wolf myth is just a myth that's led to really bad leaders, really bad coaches, really bad bosses, and really bad male behavior, especially male behavior. This toxic masculinity driven by media personalities like Andrew Tate and Sneeko and some of these clowns. Yeah, and when the drill gets tired, then you resort to the ratchet for the last few little cranks here. One screw left. Pour the rest of the material. And we're gonna run the water. Then I gotta go back to the other side of the fence real fast and finish out the reconnecting the electrical stuff here. thank you all for keeping me company during the process here. I hope you found this to be at least a little entertaining. The struggle is real, obviously. Little top here, and make sure this is really solid. So, funny thing, I saw that Andrew Tate has like a Malamute, I guess, or a mix of some kind. Sort of wolfy-ish. I do feel bad for the dog for sure. He has to be one of the worst pet parents around because anybody with that kind of a toxic, aggressive personality is not going to be nice to their animal. But he's calling it a wolf. And I was like, really? Dude, please. And, most of these guys that are all, I'm alpha, they've never even, led a pack of dogs, let alone worked with wolves, let alone know that the most important animal in the wolf family group, the real uncontested alpha, the one that matters the most, is mom. It's mom. It's just mom. Like, we all kind of instinctively know, like, if you grew up in kind of a normal household, like, when something's wrong with mom, that's when shit gets real, right? That's when mom has a migraine and all of a sudden, dad's in charge. Holy shit. Dad doesn't know there's a pan in the kitchen, right? That's when you end up having chocolate cake for dinner, right? And it's fun for a minute, but it's not fun for a while. All right, here we go. I'm pretty happy with basically all of it. So I try to recycle some of the smaller pieces of the broken concrete just so I don't end up putting it in a landfill, because this stuff never goes away. And so that reduces the amount I have to put in the ground and just replace it with these broken beds. Clean. And we try hard to be as ecologically responsible as is possible, given what we do. Not always the best, but we definitely think about it as we're working. We'll integrate just fine. The bigger ones you can't. They'll leave voids. Hey! Doing a fence post. It's part of the gig here. How's it going? Yeah, that's my old lady. She's 14. She's supervising. Everyone else is on the other side of the fence here because I had to breach the fence to replace the post. But if you swing by here other times, there'll be more animals in the front. If you want to see them. Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're the TahoeWolfCenter.org online. Okay. And on social, I'm actually live streaming Replacing a Fence post to teach people what I do. But I'm at Oliver the Wolf Guy on YouTube and TikTok. Awesome. If you want to see us. I'm the Wolf Guy.
Thank you.
For sure.
Hey.
See you guys later. All right, so I am going to get another back. I'm going to hate myself later when I have to replace this post. I'm going to put almost 200 pounds of fence post mix in this sucker, and then it will never move again. And hopefully I'll be dead before anyone has to dig it up, because I ain't going to want to do it. But yeah, because I had to make the hole pretty big to get this one out, and so now it's going to take more material. Alrighty, so I'm going to carry some equipment up the hill, and I got to go get the hose to start filling it with water. So a few steps here. I'll be back. I'll be back. You guys can hang out and chat amongst yourselves. Hey, Tanya? Now I'm going to go get the hose. All right, I'm back over here with the hose, but I'm not ready to spray it. Reconnect the electrifier on this side real quick while I'm here. Then the last thing I'll do is come back in and add the rest of that material. So let's see here what my steps look like. So many little steps in that process. All the little steps. All the little essential steps. Okay. This is live, so if you hear me yelp, it means I effed up and zapped my little self. And yes, these things are legit hot. Well, bam. Well, bam, it's in there. Reconnect this guy. You go. This is where I'm going to tag myself. You just watch. You just watch. I'll get zapped. This thing is not going to kill you, but you also know you touched something alive. Come here. Trying to knock the little screw out there. Come on, bad boy. There we go. Probably come back here with my sawzall and top this little post a little bit. It's taller than the others. A tiny bit. It's just nice and tight later. We'll make you tight later. Okay. You ain't going anywhere. Part's done. All right, let's collect some tools. I'm super fussy about tools. It's my number one pet peeve is when people lose my tools. Like I almost never loan out a tool. I literally, it's funny. I actually have a toolkit that I got as one of the first big prizes I won as a little kid bike racer. Was an actual like proper socket set that had like every metric, every standard US measure tool. And I still had, I got that when I was like 8. So 49 years ago, something like that. I still have every single piece, literally every single piece. That's how methodical, careful I am with tools. And so when I Like that said, I just don't loan out. And that's graduated to sentimental value. But overall, I don't loan tools out because people just don't, it's not, I mean, I see how people treat their own tools. Like at my job sites, I see people leave $100 batteries lying around. And I'm like, really, guys? If you don't care about that, somebody's going to take it. And if they don't care about their own tools, then you can imagine how little they care about tools they didn't buy. So, the other day I did loan one of my employees my tools for a while, and the whole time I was like, I'd come back to the job site, the tools would be lying around. I just tell my wife, man, this is going to end badly. I'm going to be mad. Finally, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I took him back, and I was like, okay, you want a tool, you're going to have to check it out. I'm not leaving my tools for you. You're just not that guy. You're not that guy. If you were that guy, then you could not lose my tools. All right, so where we're at now is part of the game where I put these back in my truck and I walk back around the other side. I know I've been a disembodied head because I'm on the wrong side of the post here. I'll be back in a sec. We're gonna pour some water, do a little mixing, throw some dirt atop, and call it good. We are 93%. See you in a sec. Hey, all right. Here we are. We're down to the brass tacks of it. One more bag. Let me check out the comments real quick here. All I got left of that is cleanup, which is a pain with this concrete. Let's see. Thank you so much, Homeopathic Fossil Fuels. I do appreciate your nice words there. Last from the industrial tech sector. Good for you. Oh, that's awesome. You're not spamming. I just am not in front of the camera. How do you keep the wolf paws away from the cement? So the concrete is on the underneath. So the entire fence line for 48 inches on the interior has ground wire that's grown into the ground, and so they can't actually get to the concrete I poured. So I can. Yep, exactly. It's very low amperage, very high voltage. And yeah, when you pee on it, don't try that at home. Every ranch kid has dared another ranch kid to piss on an electric fence. And sometimes it doesn't do nothing. Other times you get it. Right. Yeah, so the only reason that I could even do this, like totally the sockets, if the wolves were here, and loose, we would be, yeah, it doesn't go well. In fact, if you look on the edge of it, I was carrying it through the habitat to do a fence repair on the other side where I was gonna pass it through the fence. And Noonie grabbed a hold of the box and, yeah, gave it what I call a wolf haircut, which means he bit on it and crushed the edge of the box in like 2 seconds. All right, so we're gonna do this in 2 layers here. Layer 1 here, I'm just gonna just make sure this gets in there. Now, go another full bag right on top. And I'm gonna hate myself for this later. I'm gonna hate myself for using almost 200 pounds of mix if I ever have to replace this post. Vibrating it a little bit to make sure it sets. Sets it hard to get material all up around there. Now, while it's material is sort of floaty, I'm going to put the big chunks over the top here. Throw soil on top of that after it's had a chance to set up a bit. soil later. Fill it in. Right. Okay. So that is pretty much it, I think. Rosie had hung out for me the whole time here. That was pretty fast. What was that, 107 minutes? I don't know what time it is right now. It's almost 3. Well, the digging took a long time. Okay. And I'll come back later with my Sawzall and make a clean cut on the top of that thing there. We'll call it good. But for now, I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy with it to be done. I'm gonna walk over here and tighten up the electrified a little bit. That looks like a completed process. And now, just get the last little bit of cleanup here. And guess we'll unwrap you from my fence here. There we go. Right, yeah, it was a lot. Thank you. Yes, I used to have a wolf who, well, to be fair, I've just learned not to give the wolves that I have currently the opportunity, but I used to be a little bit more cavalier about my process. And I had a wolf who just stole every tool I owned, had teeth marks in the handle. It was a problem. But now, I'd like to think I'm a little wiser. And yeah, whenever I do a replacement gig, I try to make it better than the last time. I mean, in this case, it's just a material for the actual post rotted out. But I they don't make those posts like they used to make those posts, right? Like we used to make stuff that was just indestructible. Nowadays, it's almost like everything is designed to fail soon so they can sell you another crappy version. But for today at least, that's a finished task. We'll get a couple pieces of waste material and we'll call it good. So for those of you that hung out with me, all right, thank you very much. Nice, yeah, I'm by no means a seamstress, but I am a functional repairman when it comes to sewing, because my wolves make holes in everything, all my clothes, and so I'm really good at, and seatbelts, I'm really good at repairing seatbelts, because wolves eat seatbelts, and so I carry a sewing awl in my vehicle, and I will trust my life to my seatbelt repairs, because well, sometimes you got to make a decision there, and it looks every bit as robust as the stitching that comes in the factory original. Not as tidy, but a lot more knots. So fairly confident that work is solid. Yep, I do. We use sort of like a Kevlar hemp thing. I don't know. It's really heavy duty. I mean, it's the kind of stuff they use to sew the ends of like arborist gear. And I put a lot of knots through it. So yeah, I mean, I think if I hit something so hard that I'd bust the seams on the seatbelt, I'm toast anyway. We drive big vehicles. This is the Sequoia. I'm sitting in the back of my Sequoia now. So I think I'm going to wrap it up, wash my hands, and then look at my planner and see what the next one is. All right, I'm staring at somebody's dog not on a leash across the way here. Hopefully it's a minding dog. That's a big worry I always have, is some dog running up on the road here getting hit, or this is a 4.7, but I have the Lexus version of the Land Rover that's got the 5.7. They get about the same mileage. The Land Rover's a way more capable vehicle, obviously, way nicer. But the Sequoia is the Wolfmobile. It's actually the one I love the most, because that's the one I've had all the Wolf adventures in. It's an 06, and then I've got a 16 LX 570 that we bought for our other business. And it's super nice. Like, it's way too nice a car for me. I don't care about cars. I care about function. But it's great in the weather. It'll tow anything. Like when I go to pick up pups, I rent a trailer and tow a trailer. But we also have a school bus. Right? Yeah. But hey, to be fair, I had the best vehicle I ever owned was the Volkswagen. What was that called? It was their inline six turbo station wagon. It was basically an Audi engine with a Volkswagen chassis. It was I've had a couple of VWs that I liked until they lied to the whole world about their emissions. I had two Touaregs that I really liked that were both V6 that kicked ass. But this was I am blanking on the name. It's it was a 1988 Volkswagen station wagon turbo. Thing was a machine in the snow. Truly the best in the snow. Thank you very much, Pinkish Delight. Glad you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed. And tune back in. So yeah, I mean, ever since I went to Toyota, we have 3 Toyota vehicles. We have the 23 RAV4 hybrid, which is just amazing vehicle. And then we've got the Sequoia, the 06 Sequoia, which has just been a trooper. It's slowly being eaten by the wolves inside, but it works great. And then the Lexus, which is like, that's my long haul mission. So hey, what's happening, guys?
Yeah, I want your, like, you have a card or something, or because I'm Uber driver.
Yep.
I'm always stuck your place.
Yep.
So they love to know your channel.
So I'll make some cards, but it's
put it so they can.
you know what? Let me give you my phone number.
Yeah.
Text me. I'll text it back to you.
Yeah.
With like a digital card. It's it's Oliver, obviously. It's 530 307 3936.
3936.
Yep. And just and I'll text you everything.
Okay. I'm gonna be sending you my name.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. That's why we have them. Teach people about them. And I'm about to.
So, I mean, as you tell me, you have a YouTube channel.
YouTube,
So
TikTok.
I have like every day I bus maybe 10, 15 times from here.
Okay.
So we stop by, so I can give them
Yeah.
your channel so they can know your channel.
Totally. I'll send all that stuff to you
Yeah.
with my little card. Yeah, my digital card. that could find me. Like I'm live streaming right now. I just did a whole fence repair live. So yeah, I've been live for like an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I already text you my name.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I'll send you that back as soon as I'm done here.
Sure.
See you guys later. Oh, thank you very much. Too bad you're not local. And then I do have an inline 6 that is my real workhorse, which is a Thomas S-line school bus. That's the Wolf evacuation vehicle. I have a fully converted school bus. Someday I'll do some videos in the bus. It's fully converted. It's a liveaboard. Got everything. It's rad. Just needs a real. I'm going to do a contest to paint the bus. And see who comes up with the most creative wolf-inspired design. And because right now it's just beige and not super pretty, but the inside is cherry. It's because we haven't had to evacuate the wolves in it yet, but it's super nice. And that thing, it's a turbo diesel, inline 6 turbo diesel. That's right. It is the Wolf Bus, the Apocalypse. That's right. It is set up for that exactly. Like, in 2022, we had this huge fire here and we were evacuated for a month. And I had to drive 30 hours each way to my friend's wolf sanctuary, so I had a place to be. Luckily, he had room for me, but that was a mission and we only had 3 animals, and now with 6, that would be very tough. And so we ultimately want to buy a second piece of land and put like a yurt and some habitat out there. So if we have to be out of here, we just go there and we are all set. But thrash metal, Wolf Bus, it does kind of sound like that. Hopefully I don't have to use it as a Wolf Bus, the Apocalypse, because then I'd have to be towing about 4 trailers with freezers full of meat and a generator and a lot of fuel. It'd be a long bus. But all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. But thank you so much for hanging with me, and I hope you took some inspiration from the labor of the day. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe. You want to support me, that's the way to do it. I have a merch shop if you want to buy a t-shirt to support the nonprofit. And if you want to do your dog a solid, buy my book, The Wolf Lover's Guide to Raising Dogs. You can find all this stuff in my link tree. And again, my pleasure sharing my afternoon with you guys. And we will see you on the next one. So thank you all. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Talk to you soon. Howls.